Hi guys, I'm the CGA, and this is my attempt at a Pokemon SoulSilver Hardcore Nuzlocke only using Pokemon with the ability Hustle. As a reminder, here are the rules for a Hardcore Nuzlocke. I also play with a variant of the species and dupes clauses, meaning I can't have two Pokemon of the same evolutionary line on my team. See the description down below for the full rule set. Let's talk about Hustle. A true double-edged sword, this ability raises the user's attack stat by 50% but lowers the accuracy of physical moves by 20%. Special attacks and status moves aren't affected. However, in order to take advantage of the power increase, there's always a chance of missing an attack. In Hardcore Nuzlockes, where every move is calculated, a miss could mean the end of a run. Granted, some Pokemon with this ability do have good defenses, so even if they miss an attack, they can stick around. Here's every Pokemon to date that can have Hustle. Dracozolt, Flapple, Alolan Raticate, Zweilous, Durant, Rufflet, and Darumaka weren't created until after this game's release. That already eliminates 4 of the 5 best Pokemon with this ability. But that's not all. To my knowledge, Combee and Togekiss can't be obtained until after the Elite Four. So what does that leave me with? Raticate, Nidorina, Nidorino, Togetic, Corsola, Remoraid, and Delibird? Seriously? This might be the worst team ever assembled. Let's see if this ragtag group of misfits can lead us to Johto's Hall of Fame. If you enjoy this video, and I somehow managed to beat this run, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing, leaving a comment down below, all that YouTube algorithm stuff. I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, let's get into it. I opened my eyes in New Barktown, where this kid with daddy issues stalks Professor Elm. He tells me to choose a Pokemon, and I can't wait to see what awesome beast is gonna be my partner. Oh, it's a rat. I name her 100 meter dash, and then the creep forces his phone number on me, a 10-year-old boy. Mr. Pokemon gives us an egg, and I think it's time for Professor Oak to retire. This old man also forces his number on me, and on my way back to Elm's lab, the mysterious kid challenges me to a battle. 100 meter dash opens with a crit quick attack, almost killing Totodile as she gets leered. After missing her next one, she takes a scratch and finishes the battle with one more. Naturally, I name him Hustle's arch nemesis, Slow. Now that I'm finally ready to leave the nest, my mom wants to take money from me. Get a job! I get to Sprout Tower in Violet City and take on the Elder when this happens. I miss my second quick attack against Hoot Hoot, which results in it living in the red and putting 100 meter dash to sleep. She sleeps for 2 turns, and unfortunately, she won't be waking up anytime soon. Gotta love Hustle, but hey, at least it was an early death. On attempt 2, I get back to the Elder in no time and miss my second quick attack again against Hoot Hoot. Thankfully, he doesn't use Hypnosis and we're able to take him down. I do as much EV training in attack as I can, and it's time to take on Faulkner. A single quick attack takes out his Pidgey, and then his ace Pidgeotto comes in. My quick attack does around a third to the bird as Gust hits for 9 damage. Rattata's next quick attack is a critical hit, winning us the Zephyr badge. Next, Professor Elm's assistant gives us the Togepi egg, which I immediately hatch by running back and forth in Violet City. Meet Marathon. Typically, Togepi's only level up attacking move is Metronome until level 33, but the one in Heart Gold and Soul Silver is special. It hatches with Extra Sensory, a base 80 power, 100% accurate special psychic type move that could cause flinching. This is huge. Since Hustle doesn't lower its accuracy, I now have a guaranteed way of doing damage. On top of that, Togepi evolves when leveled up with High Friendship, so I run back and forth to max it out and immediately switch Train Marathon to evolve him into Togetic. I do some EV training in HP and defense, and finally continue on to Slowpoke Well, where we fight Rocket Executive Proton. At level 16, Marathon destroys his Zubat and Coughing with Extra Sensory, and we can make our way to Bugsy. The document I read said he would open with Metapod, so I was a little thrown off to see Scyther. I switched to Marathon as he U-turns out to the Chrysalis. Extra Sensory just can't take it down, but I barely take any damage from Tackle. Bugsy decides to heal his Metapod, so it takes 2 more Extra Sensories before it drops. With Scyther back in, I go for Yawn to put it to sleep. If you couldn't tell by now, I'm gonna be using a bulky support set on Togetic. After a second Leer, I use Sweet Kiss to add another status condition to the Mantis. With Scyther asleep, I use Charm twice to lower its attack by 4 stages. Then I use extra sensory for a bit of damage and actually manage to predict the wake up and connect another yawn as the bug hurts itself in confusion. After another extra sensory, its citrus berry procs and it gets back over half health, but it's back to bed for our green friend. Marathon then gives her another kiss and one last charm puts its attack at -6. Basically rendered useless, a quick attack does baby damage as I land another extra sensory. Then it hits itself as I yawn again. One last extra sensory takes it out and all Bugsy has left is his Kakuna. As a poison type, all it takes is one psychic attack to take this thing down and the second badge is mine. Now it's time for our second battle against Slow. He leads Ghastly and I have Rattata out front. Bite gets the Oko and he sends out his Crocodile next. Hyperfang does 50% as 100 meter dash takes a Bite for just under 50. Next turn she connects another Hyperfang for the kill and all that's left is Zubat. I switch to Togetic who gets confused as he comes in. Next turn he hits himself and Zubat lands a Bite, but the damage isn't too bad. After another Bite, Marathon flinches, but then next turn we win the speed tie and snap out of confusion to extra sensory for the win. This Kimono girl is lost in Ilex Forest even though she's maybe 10 steps from the exit, so I help her out. Then Lyra's grandma is sorely mistaken if she thinks this hustler can be tied down. From here it's a short walk to Goldenrod City, but before taking on Whitney, I go to Route 35 to catch our next team member, Nidoran Male, who I name Hurdles. I go back to Route 29 to EV train Nidoran in HP and attack, and at level 16 he evolves into Nidorino. Then I pass the stupid radio tower quiz and Whitney goes back to the gym. We chase after her and it's finally time for the battle. Hurdles was able to get enough attack EVs without overleveling to Oko her Clefairy with double kick, so all that's left is that thick Miltank. She uses Attract and Hurdles, the gentleman that he is, can't hurt a lady. I switch to Marathon and take 2 stomps while getting a yawn off. Then I switch 100 meter dash in who lives a stomp and Miltank goes to sleep only to wake up with its Lumberry. Now it's back to Marathon, but another stomp leaves him at 5 HP, so Hurdles is my only hope. The flying type Togetic baits rollout, so Miltank won't be able to go for another Attract unless she misses. From here it just takes 2 double kicks to knock the cow out. If I had missed either of those attacks, I would have probably had to sack Hurdles off for the win. Whitney starts crying like a baby, and after giving her a second to cool down, she gives me my badge. Apparently beating her means it's safe for me to handle the deadly squirt bottle, so now I can get past Sudowoodo on Route 36. On my way to Akrutik City, I run into the deadliest trainer in the game, Psychic Greg. I decided to go for Sucker Punch, but his Drowsy put me to sleep with Hypnosis. By the time I realized his game plan, I was already in deep. Dream Meter did over 50% to Rattata, and with Psychic being super effective against Nidorino, I had to go to Marathon. I thought I'd be smart and put Drowsy to sleep, but no, he has insomnia. Then he disabled my yawn and I miss a Sweet Kiss, resulting in Togetic going to bed. My dreams are eaten twice before I wake up and luckily connect my next Sweet Kiss. After seeing how little damage Extra Sensory did, I decide to risk it all on Hurdles. Hypnosis misses on the switch in and I connect a peck for around 50%. Then Drowsy hits itself in confusion and I manage to win the battle with another peck. My sweaty palms are rewarded with 100 meter dashes evolution into the strongest Pokemon I'll have for this run, Raticate. Next, I realize something incredible. I originally thought that Nidoran male and female were only available on Route 35 and I'd have to catch the first one I ran into, forfeiting the other encounter. However, it turns out they're also on Route 36, so I can add yet another member to the squad, Steeplechase. Similar to Hurdles, I train her in HP and attack and she evolves into Nidorina. I arrive at Akrutik and go to the dance studio to find a rocket grunt demanding a hula dance from a kimono girl. Go take a trip to Alola, my guy. He takes my advice and this old guy is so moved by my potential as a travel agent that he gives me the HM for Surf. Next I go to the Burn Tower where the leader of the Suicune fan club, Ucine, talks to me about his beloved. The gym leader Morty is here but won't go back to the gym until I progress the story. But of course, Slow needs to be spanked again. His Ghastly goes down to a bite from 100 meter dash and then he brings in a newly caught Magnemite. I bring in Steeplechase, who gets confused, and then on the next turn she hits herself and gets Thunder Waved. With that, it's a swap to Hurdles to eat a Sonic Boom and kill with Double Kick. Croconaw has Ice Fang now, so it's not safe to go to Togetic. I decide to stay in and go for Double Kick as I get Scary Faced. Next turn, Ice Fang does solid damage as Double Kick brings the Croc pretty low. I switch to Steeplechase, who gets Scary Faced, and then next turn does a little more damage after taking an Ice Fang. She gets full powered on the next turn, but then lands one more Double Kick for the kill. Last is slow Zubat, so I switch to Marathon and get hit by Wing Attack. Next turn, a Supersonic lands and he smacks himself in the face. Togetic takes one more Wing Attack and finally breaks through Confusion to kill with Extra Sensory, giving us the win. Also, in case you were wondering, the reason I didn't use Raticate in that fight is I'm planning on having him take out every one of Morty's gym trainers and couldn't risk him going over the level cap before the gym leader. I go down to the basement and the dogs run away, but before I could leave, Usain gives me his 2 cents, even though nobody asked. With that sorted out, it was finally time to take on Morty. His Ghastly is first, who 100-meter dash crunches for a kill. Next, I miss a crunch against Haunter and it puts me to sleep. After a turn of sleep and seeing that Dream Eater does 1/3 to Raticate, I bring in Togetic, who's unaffected. Unfortunately, Marathon is super slow and also gets put to sleep. Haunter uses Nightmare, which coupled with Dream Eater could do insane damage. Luckily, I wake up on the next turn and kill with Extra Sensory. Morty's ace, Gengar, is next, and I have to risk going to 100-meter dash, who's still asleep. She gets locked in with Mean Look, but I wasn't planning on swapping her again anyway. Next turn, Gengar hits a Sucker Punch and Raticate wakes up to connect Crunch for another kill. Morty has one more Haunter and I'm terrified as I miss another Crunch. Luck was really on my side as Haunter squandered the opportunity and just uses Mean Look. Next turn, Crunch lands and Morty hands over the Fog Badge. From here, I make my way to Olivine City and grab the Good Rod from this fisherman, so it's time for another encounter. I cast out and manage to reel myself in a Corsola, who I catch and name Relay. I get to the top of the lighthouse and Jasmine sends me on an errand to pick up this Ampharos's prescription. I teach Corsola Surf so I can get to Cyanwood and grab the secret potion from the pharmacist. After that, I grind everyone up to level 31 to take on Chuck, the fakest fighting gym leader there is. He only has 2 Pokemon and their only fighting type move is Focus Punch, which will never hit as long as I do. Unfortunately, Primeape and Poliwrath are still pretty strong and my team doesn't have a great way of dealing damage against them. I search through my TMs and discover that Raticate can learn Pluck, a 60 base power flying type move with 100% accuracy. Not only is it super effective against Chuck's Pokemon, its secondary effect will allow me to eat Poliwrath's Citrus Berry to regain health after knocking out Primeape. So let's see if my normal type can beat the fighting gym. 100-meter dash opens with a quick attack since Pluck can't get a one-hit KO on Primeape and is met with a double team. Next turn she misses her Pluck and takes a solid chunk from Rock Slide. Luckily her next one lands, taking out the angry Hairball. Poliwrath takes just over 50% from Pluck as Raticate eats his berry to almost get back to full health. After a Body Slam, it just takes one more Pluck to finish the job and get us our 5th gym badge. This point in the game gets a little weird. Technically Jasmine is the 6th gym leader, but Price's ace is a lower level than her Steelix. Since it's possible to progress the story and battle Price before Jasmine, that's what I'm gonna do. Before that, I run back to the lighthouse to make sure Amphi doesn't die and we're off to Mahogany Town. Also, I know Suicune is in Cyanwood and Usain will battle us if we approach it, but I just think it's funny to leave him chilling there. I teach Fly to Marathon, and as I start heading east from Recruitique City, this hiker bumps into me and gives me strength as an apology. Before moving on, I fly to Goldenrod City to grab the return TM from the department store woman who gives it out on Sundays. I replace 100-meter dash's Hyper Fang since return is stronger and more accurate. I also teach strength to both Hurdles and Steeplechase since their move pools are really lacking. I get to Mahogany Town and this middle-aged man totally scams me out of $300. At the Lake of Rage, I swim over to the shiny Gyarados and immediately run away. That thing is terrifying and you can't make me fight it. See? Even the champion says my battle was impressive. Don't make the joke everyone else makes here. I make my way through Rocket HQ and apparently tell Petrol he sounds nothing like Giovanni. How would I know what he sounds like? Just what kind of connection to the crime boss do I have? Without time to think about it, he challenges me to a battle, but he's at such a low level that it's really not even worth showing. This Murkrow unlocks the door for me, and then I have a double battle against Rocket Executive Ariana and a Grunt. The balancing in Gen 2 is so bad as her Pokemon are pretty low leveled and Lances are in their 40s, so I'm not going to show this battle either. After turning off the generator, Lance gives me Whirlpool, which someone thought would be fun to make an HM in this game. Now I grind the team to the level cap, teach Corsola Shadow Ball, and prepare to take on Price. He leads Seal as I lead with Relay. Honestly, I don't have a surefire strategy here, and I'm just hoping I end up with a special defense drop or crit against Seal. It starts with an Icy Wind to lower my speed as Shadow Ball does around a third of its health. Price then sets up Hail, and I get extremely lucky as Shadow Ball actually crits Seal for the kill. All part of the plan, baby. Next, Price's Ace Piloswine comes in. This thing is super scary since it has Mud Bomb, which is super effective against Relay. On top of that, it has Snow Cloak as its ability, so the accuracy of my moves are decreased by 1/5, and it has Blizzard, which can't miss in the hail. Mud Bomb does about a third to Corsola, who misses Surf. Another Mud Bomb brings her down to 20 HP, but she connects Surf for the kill. With Price's real threat gone, his last Pokemon, Dugong, comes in. Its only attacking moves are Aurora Beam and Ice Shard, so it can't kill Corsola unless it crits. Deciding to risk it, I manage to live and use Recover. After the second Aurora Beam crits, I recover again for good measure, and on the next turn do big damage with Ancient Power. Dugong rests to live one more turn and then Sleep Talks, which is a pretty cool strategy. Too bad you can't hurt my Relay. One more Ancient Power takes Dugong out, handing us our 6th gym badge. Next, I get everyone up one level and fly to Olivine to finally take on Jasmine. Hurdles opens the battle by taking her Magnemite down with Double Kick. Unfortunately, he misses her second Magnemite, who gets a crit Thunderbolt, almost killing him and getting the full paralysis. I switch to Steeplechase, who eats a Sonic Boom, and then a Double Kick from her takes this Magnet out. Last is Steelix, so I switch to my special attacker, Relay, who dodges a Screech. Then a single Surf drops the Behemoth, and Jasmine awards us the Mineral Badge. Professor Elm tells me Team Rocket has taken over the radio tower, so I rush to Goldenrod to stop them. In order to get in, I go to the underground to get a Rocket uniform. Maybe I really am connected to Giovanni. I'm about to infiltrate the tower when Slow totally blows my cover. Guess I gotta kick everyone's teeth in. We find Petrol again impersonating the director, and this time he has the most toxic team I have ever seen in my life. This man is seriously carrying 5 coughings and a wheezing, all with self-destruct or explosion. Luckily, Marathon outspeeds and kills his coughings with extra sensory, and when wheezing comes in, I just switch to Relay to eat up the explosion. Lyra calls me in the middle of this madness for what I think will be an important update. Nope. On my way to free the director from the underground, Slow wants to have another battle. I lead Raticate and use Return to Oko his Golbat. Then Feraligatr comes in and dodges Return to hit me with Thrash. Return just doesn't get the kill as another Thrash leaves 100-meter dash in the red, but the Gator is now confused. I click Quick Attack and connect for the kill. Magnemite is next, so I switch to Steeplechase, who takes a Sonic Boom and kills with Double Kick. Then Haunter comes out and curses Nidorina as she finishes it off with a bite. Sneasel is last, and since I'm scared of potentially missing Double Kick and dying from Curse, I switch to Hurdles, who takes a Feint Attack fairly well. Next turn he eats another and Double Kick gives us the win. When I reach the real director, he gives me the card key so I can get through the rest of the radio tower. I blow through Proton and Ariana, who both want revenge on me for their losses, and finally see the face behind Team Rocket's revival, Archer. His Houndour hits a Feint Attack for some damage before getting washed away by Relay's Surf. Next, his Ace Houndoom bites her, but Corsola gets a crit Surf for another kill. Coughing is last, but Relay is on a warpath as she eats Sludge and kills with another crit Surf. With that, Team Rocket is disbanded and we can finally move on with our gym challenge. On Route 44, I fish up a Remoraid who I catch and name Sprinter. Then, I work my way to Ice Path where I catch the final member of our team, a Delibird named Racewalk. I pick up Waterfall and help a Kimono girl whose sandals are stuck to the ice, but nothing else of note really happens here. I arrive in Blackthorn City and use my 1 heart scale to reteach 100-meter dash Swords Dance. With the team grinded to level 41, it's time to take on the final gym leader, Claire. I lead Raticate, who gets dropped to -1 attack from her Gyarados' Intimidate. I Swords Dance to get to +1 as Gyarados hits Dragon Rage for 40 damage. Next turn, a +1 return knocks the Leviathan out and Claire brings in Dragonair. 100-meter dash drops it with a return, and now her ace, Kingdra, hits the field. I switch to Marathon, who lives a Dragon Pulse and a Hydro Pump to land a Yawn. Then I switch to Relay to tank another Dragon Pulse as Kingdra goes to sleep. From here, it's back to Raticate, and I managed to get a Swords Dance up without Kingdra waking up. If it did, the run was probably over. A +2 return easily KOs Kingdra and her second Dragonair in the back. Claire, being just as stubborn as Whitney, refuses to give us the Rising Badge until we complete the Dragon Master Challenge. I go to the shrine in the Dragon's Den and answer a series of very simple questions to which Claire is surprised I passed. She must have answered cheating to this one. Now, I don't know if the Lugia event is necessary in order to challenge the Elite Four, but it felt wrong to completely skip it. I mean, just look at this cinematic masterpiece. I confidently swim right up to this thing and run away. Listen, I ran the calcs. With Lugia's move pool, it doesn't end well for my team of outcasts. I finally make it to Victory Road, which has been cleared out by our rival Slow. He ambushes us at the end of the cave for one last bout. You might notice that my team is over the level cap on screen. I try to match each Elite Four member's highest level using rare candies between each member as needed. However, this game has almost no level increase between the 8th gym leader and the first member of the Elite Four, so it was impossible to stay under the cap. I decided to just get to the Elite Four and only level my team up once they were below the cap again. Anyway, Slow leads Sneasel, who hits a feint attack and goes down to a double kick from hurdles. His newly caught Kadabra comes in as I switch to Relay, who takes a side beam pretty well. Next turn, Kadabra sets up a Reflect and dies to a crit Shadow Ball. His Magnemite finally evolved into a Magneton, so even with Reflect up, I switch to Steeplechase, who gets paralyzed by Thunder Wave. Spark doesn't do much damage, but I get fully paralyzed and then confused, smacking myself in the face without getting a single double kick off. Next turn, after a Spark, Nidorina connects double kick, but not for too much damage. At least Reflect ends. Another Spark leaves her at low health as I'm plagued by another full para. I stay in, risking the crit, but live and connect double kick for my third KO. When Haunter comes out, I switch to 100-meter dash, who's unaffected by Shadow Ball. Then she crunches the Ghost for a kill. Golbat comes in and I stupidly set up a Swords Dance instead of just attacking so it can confuse me. Like usual, I'm never punished as I go for return and break through confusion for the knockout. Last is for Alligator, but at +2 attack, Raticate snaps out of confusion and hits return for the win. Before entering the Elite Four, I teach Race Walk, Fly, and Avalanche, and I replace Corsola's Shadow Ball with Earthquake. I walk through the doors of no return and am faced with the first member, Will the Psychic type trainer. He opens with Xatu and I lead 100-meter dash, who wastes no time getting a Swords Dance off as the bird U-turns into Jinx. At +2, I'm able to kill his whole team with crunches. However, against his ace Xatu, Raticate misses and gets hit by a Psychic. Luckily, she lives and is able to connect on her next attack to seal the win for us. Next up is a familiar face, the Poison Ninja Koga. Race Walk comes out and outspeeds Ariados to take to the air. Unfortunately, he misses his first fly and gets hit hard by Poison Jab. The second one hits its mark, taking the spider down. Next is Koga's most annoying Pokemon, Muck. I bring in Marathon hoping it doesn't use Gunk Shot so I can yawn it. Well, there goes that plan. Now I switch to Relay, who learned Earthquake for this very battle. I get lucky as Muck misses Gunk Shot on the switch, but next turn it screeches Corsola and she misses Earthquake. Now Koga tries to get annoying with Minimize, but I actually hit EQ for just under 50%. Muck is also holding Black Sludge, which restores 1/16 of its HP every turn. The longer this thing stays on the field, the lower my chances of winning, and that's especially bad since Earthquake is affected by the Hustle accuracy drop. Muck tries poisoning Relay with Toxic, but her Petra Berry shakes it off as she high rolls her second Earthquake, leaving Muck with a shred of health. Naturally, a full restore comes out as Corsola fails again to cause a tremor. Somehow she connects after a second minimize to bring Muck to half health, but that black sludge is so annoying. Gong Shot misses and a high roll takes Koga's Staller down. Just for context, Earthquake was 48% accurate after the 2 minimizes, so I really lucked out. Fortress is next, who's a huge threat since it has Explosion. But all it does is lay down 2 layers of toxic spikes before being KO'd by 2 Surfs. Venomoth comes in and confuses Corsola with Supersonic, but she's able to break out and hit Power Gem, nearly killing the bug. We eat up a Psychic and the special defense drop really won't affect us as we break through Confusion again to kill Venomoth with another Power Gem. His ace is Crobat, who sets up a double team as Corsola snaps out of Confusion to hit Power Gem. A Citrus Berry brings the bat back over half health, and after a not very effective wing attack, 1 more Power Gem finishes Koga. Now we face my worst nightmare, Bruno and his fighting types. Like last battle, Racewalk is out front, who actually lands Fly this time to KO Hitmontop. Onix comes out next, so I switch to Relay to eat a Rock Slide, and after setting up Sandstorm, the bunch of boulders goes down to a Surf. Hitmonlee is next, so I go to Steeplechase, who resists fighting type attacks. Unfortunately, High Jump Kick crits, which means things just got bad. I use Double Kick to get some damage down as Hitmonlee's Blaze Kick plus sand damage leaves Nidorina with 5 HP. She makes the ultimate sacrifice, getting kicked into her grave so I can get a clean switch into Delibird. Racewalk soars to the heavens and with the spirit of Steeplechase behind him, crashes down on Hitmonlee for the kill. Hitmonchan is next, but Delibird misses Fly. Nidorina must still be protecting us as she causes our Penguin's Bright Powder to blind the Boxer and miss Fire Punch. Our next Fly connects and now Machamp comes in. This specific one has no guard, meaning moves used by or against it can't miss even if I'm in the air between Fly turns. This means I have to go to Hurdles, who's my only Pokemon capable of living a Cross Chop. I use Poison Jab to see if he can crit for a kill, but Machamp's Citrus Berry takes him out of KO range as 1 more Cross Chop will be the end of Nidorino. Barely surviving a second Poison Jab, we salute the Nido siblings as Hurdles dies so we can forge on. I bring in 100 meter dash and as Bruno heals, hit a return to bring Machamp back to the red. Bruno heals again as my quick attack does a decent amount of damage. Now all it takes is a return to knock Forearms out and leave us with 2 more obstacles. I hope Poke Heaven is filled with Moonstones. The last member of the Elite Four is Karen, who uses Dark types. She leads Umbreon, which is super bulky and has an annoying moveset to deal with. 100 meter dash Swords Dances as the dog uses Double Team. Next turn, I miss Return and it gets a second evasiveness boost. After yet another miss, Umbreon goes on the offensive, hitting a payback for around 50 damage. Return misses for a 3rd time as another Double Team comes out. Such a Karen move. Raticate misses a 4th time as Umbreon hits Feint Attack and now it's do or die. Choosing the former over the latter, 100 meter dash opens her eyes and hits a return for a KO. Next, Karen's Gengar, which most certainly is not a Dark type, goes down to Crunch. Her ace is Houndoom, who doesn't have the bulk to stand up to Raticate's return. Then, her Murkrow goes down to Quick Attack and her Vileplume, who's also not a Dark type, dies to return. With each Elite Four member defeated, it's time to take on the man who always had our back, Lance. This is it. Will all the hustling pay off, or will we run out of gas before the finish line? I lead Delibird to eat up Gyarados' Intimidate, and then forget that Avalanche always goes second, so I take huge damage from Waterfall before connecting. Either way, Racewalk has served his purpose as I sack him to an Ice Fang. Now I'm able to bring in 100 meter dash and use Swords Dance as I live a Waterfall. At +2, Return knocks out the King of the Sea and Lance goes straight to his highest leveled Dragonite. Raticate lands returns to kill not just 1, but 2 Dragonites. Sadly, she trips before the finish line and misses the last dragon, resulting in a death by Dragon Rush. I bring in Marathon, who gets Thunder Waved but shakes it off to land a Yawn. After the dragon misses Blizzard, I get full parried, but now it's nap time. I bring in Relay, who manages to hit 2 Power Gems while Dragonite stays asleep. Lance's Aerodactyl comes out, but Thunderfang doesn't even do half of Corsola's health as she gets a kill with Surf. Last is Charizard, but his 4 times weakness to rock makes for an easy victory as Relay lives a Dragon Claw and hits Power Gem. And with that, we're crowned the champion of the Johto region. This run was actually really difficult and took a lot of planning and admittedly some luck to get through. When I looked at the list of available Pokemon in this game who could have Hustle, I knew it was going to be a struggle, but I'm so happy I was able to come out on top. I had no doubt that Raticate would be indispensable, but huge shout out to Corsola for being an absolute wall who could still hit hard. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, let me know down in the comments who you think the most underappreciated Pokemon is. I'd really love to know about more hidden gems like Corsola who fly under the radar. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, any challenge can be beaten if you just use your head.